Hello, what's up everyone? In this video, I will show you my favorite setups and the ones that we want to trade and the ones that we want to avoid, all right? Now, there are, of course, different setups and different entry types, and we will need to combine both. In this video, we will only talk about the overall setup. So keep in mind that we will not talk about the entry, but we will talk about the overall setup. So no lower timeframes, but mostly higher timeframes points of interest. So what do we want to trade? We obviously trade from our areas of interest, which are usually order blocks, which are supply and demand levels. So if you don't know how to use them, go back to the supply and demand videos to start understanding how to use them. Now, of course, these areas have different confluences and some areas are better than the others. I'm already giving for granted that we are trading together with the trend, or if we are going against the trend, we are at a discounted area and that we're targeting premium. I'm giving for granted that you know the direction of the market, you know that if we are at premium or discount, and so on and so on. These right here, I'm talking only about the setup by itself. And also that you know if we just broke structure, which order block broke the structure, and so on. Okay. With that being said, I gave some grades. I will put a bigger writing for now. Okay. I gave some grades to each setup so you can know if these are tradable or if they're not tradable. So let's start from the ones that are not acceptable in our strategy. So if we just have an order block, we don't want to trade that area, meaning that if we have push to the upside and we just reach the order block like this, we don't want to trade from this area because this is just order block. Okay. Now, second case, and these are both F, that's why, because it's not acceptable. Second case is that we have order block plus imbalance. Okay. So here, for example, we have imbalance and we have order block. We reach it. This is still not acceptable to me. I just want to focus on high probability setups. Okay. Now, which are tradable, which are acceptable? We start from, let's start now from the best one, which is the most, which is the best one, as I said already. So let me delete everything. This means that there is an order block plus imbalance plus previous high-low type 1. Okay, what does this mean? First of all, well, I'll just show you. So we have order block with imbalance. Okay, we come back. Okay, so we have order block, which is the one breaking the structure, and maybe we are at discount and so on. We have imbalance from here to here, some imbalance. Okay, sorry, that's my cat. Anyway, I hope she doesn't start going crazy as usual. What do we have? Previous high-low type 1, which is the best one. What does it mean? Type 1 is when we have the previous high or low, in this case, the lows, both here, so inside the move to the upside, so this is liquidity, and also before reaching the key area, we build other lows to take out. This is the type 1, okay? Type 1 setup, type 1 previous high low, with actually two lows that are being taken, both inside the move to the upside and also just before actually reaching the area. So inside here and also here. Later we will see real charts examples from trades that I took and sent to to the VIP channel. What is the type 2 setup of the previous high low? So of course we have the order block, so it's the same. We have the imbalance, so it's the same, but we have previous high low type 2. What's that? That is when we have only one of these two, basically, which is usually this one, to be honest. But let's just say that it's just one of these two. Okay, so we're going to the upside, we are retracing to the order block, and we have this. Basically, we have order block, we have imbalance, and we have previous low, but only here. We don't have it here, or vice versa. We only have this one, and we don't build the liquidity here when reaching. Okay, so this is already a B grade. Okay, so it's the A grade, the best one is this one, and vice versa for sells. The B one is this one. Let me just show you for some sells. So for sells, it's this one is like this, basically, with order block, with imbalance, and with previous highs. Okay, and the type 2 is like this. With order block, imbalance, and previous here and here, previous sides. Okay. Right. So these are the best setups that we can have. Okay, these are the best setups. When you will hear me talking in the lives, also on my Instagram or wherever, I will say that we are talking about a setup, a B setup, a C setup, D setup, or F setup. If it is an F setup, we don't want the trade. Okay, but in other cases we do. We will just adjust the risk accordingly. But we will talk about this after the entry types, because we need to combine this with entries video. So A setup is this one here for buys and for sells. B setup is this one for buys and for sells. Okay. Now the C setup and the D setup is basically the same, but without imbalance. Okay. Without imbalance, it's just the same, just there is no imbalance here. It's a little bit less confirmation, but still very good. Well, now, the C is with the type 1 previous high low. So this one, type 1, okay? The D setup is with this one or this one. And of course, it's still acceptable because it's still a D, which is acceptable. It is not an F, but it is more risky. Okay, until the C, so A, B, and C are all great. Okay, almost, I would say almost at the same level. Okay, of course, the A is better, the B is a little bit less, the C is a little bit less, but almost at the same level. These are good. Okay, now the D is good. This one is good, but not as much as the others. And the other two, I just wouldn't include them on my trading plan. Now let's see some real examples that I prepared. So the setups, these are real trades that I posted on my Instagrams and on my Instagram, and also these are real trades that we took. Actually, this one no, but all the other yes. So what type of setup is this? We have order block, we have imbalance here. If you don't know what imbalance is, go in the 1.0 content and go watch the imbalance video. And we have previous low here. Okay, as we were saying, order block, imbalance, and previous low. Order block, imbalance, and previous low, type 2, you will get used to this, especially if you keep the things on the chart. I will show you right now how to do it. It's a B setup, so it's good. Now, how to do it? 1 second, I'll show you. Here, when you create this, you can just put a box. You select the color, you double click and go on text, you put the text and you write inside this. And after you write inside it, you right click, template, save as, and you put a name. So the times after, when you open your chart, you can just draw a box, right click, template, where is it? Setups, and there we go, and you have it. Okay, and you just keep it on chart to have it with you. And of course you will delete, but it's really quick to do. This template setups, and you have it. Okay. So you always have it under your eyes. Let me go back to here. Perfect. So this is a B setup. Okay. Now here, for example, let me see, here we have order block, no imbalance, but we have previous lows here and previous low here. So I would say it's still, in this case, a C setup, order block and previous low type 1, both here and here. Okay. Here, perfect. We have order block, no imbalance because it was already closed by this candle, so only order block, previous low inside the setup and previous low before taking it, so 2 lows. It's a C setup, order block plus previous. Just take a picture of this while you're listening to me explaining this so you can compare. Okay, so you have 2 previous lows, so it's a type 1 previous high low. Okay, order block, so it's a C setup. Now here you have order block, imbalance, and almost no previous high lows. Here you actually have it. Depends if we zoom in, maybe if we go on lower time frames. But this to me is almost unacceptable, I would say. Yeah, I would say this is an F. So it's not a trade for me. Here, order block, imbalance here in this candle, previous low inside the setup and previous low here. So it's an A setup. This is perfect. Order block, imbalance, previous high low type 1, A setup. Here, order block, imbalance on the way down, previous lows here, but previous lows type 2, because there is no previous high lows. Well, actually there is this one. So it could be, actually, sometimes you have to interpret it a little bit if it is a type 1 or type 2. I would have liked to see something right before the order block, but we actually do have these previous high lows also here. So I will consider this a previous high low type 1 actually. So order block, imbalance, previous high lows type 1. This is an A setup. And I'm not talking about the entries, I'm just talking about the overall setups. Now here we cannot really see, but we have order block, previous highs. We don't know if there were previous highs also on the way down, but I assume there is, so we can consider these two. So previous high low type 1, order block, we don't see if there is imbalance, but you get the point. I cannot really classify this setup, but is for sure acceptable. Okay, order block, previous high on the way down, previous highs here, okay, and imbalance, not really because it was closed, so we don't have imbalance. It's a C setup. Here, order block, some imbalance that was closed later, but still this candle has imbalance, so perfect. Order block, imbalance, previous highs, previous highs also here. This is an A setup. Now here, what do we have? Let me see. Oh, I took this, wait, because I wanted to talk both about this and also about this. Here we have, okay, perfect. Order block, imbalance, and previous lows here, but previous lows type 2. Okay, so it's a B setup. Order block, imbalance, and previous previous lows in this case type 2, because there is only this. We don't build also lows here before taking them out. And also in this case, trendline liquidity, which can be helpful. Now, for the sells from up here, we have previous high here, order block, imbalance. It's an A setup from up here. But of course, we need to check the direction is to the downside and so on and so on. I'm just talking about, I'm just giving for granted that we know where the direction is and so on. Here, order block, previous high also here, imbalance, A setup. Here, order block, previous high is only here, not really on the way down. Imbalance, some imbalance left behind on this big candle, okay, on the way down. So it's order block plus imbalance plus previous highs type 2, because it's only here, there are no here. And it's still, these are all good. These are all good examples. I'm just showing you. Okay, here we have order block, imbalance, and previous lows type 2, only here and not inside the setup right here, only here. Okay, so it's still acceptable, but it's a D setup. So maybe we decrease our risk. But we will talk about this later after the entry types video. The main concept is that for A, B, and C setups, we go with full risk. With D setup, we go with half risk. And F, we just don't look at them at all. Here, highs, so order block, imbalance, highs on the way down and highs also here. This is an A setup. Here, order block, imbalance was actually closed, so no imbalance. Previous lows here and previous lows here, this is a C setup. So because it's a previous lows type 1, both here and here. Here we have order block, imbalance, previous lows here and previous lows also here actually, because it's equal lows. So this is an A setup. Here, order block, imbalance, previous low on the way up, previous low also here, A setup. Let me see, perfect, order block. Previous low here on the way up inside the setup, inside the movement to the upside. Previous lows before the entry. So we have type 1 previous lows. Some imbalance left behind. I will need to look better, but yes, this candle is definitely leaving imbalance, even a little bit, but still. So this is an A setup. Here, I didn't put this to include this. Don't look at the trade, look at the setup. Order block, no imbalance, so no imbalance, but previous highs here and also previous highs here before taking them out. So this is a C setup. There is no imbalance, so this is a C setup, but with previous high-low type 1, okay? So yes, C setup. Here, order block, imbalance, equal highs here, but not really on the way down, but also equal highs here. So still two type of equal highs. I would have preferred, as you know, on the way down, that here we have some a high, okay, that we take out on the way up, but still this is an A setup. Here, order block, already mitigated, so not really the best example. Let's take this entry. Let's not look at my entry as example, but let's look at this entry. Order block, some imbalance on this candle, especially this candle right here. Even by a little bit, but still imbalance. Order block, imbalance. Previous high here. This is a B setup because it is a previous high type 2. There is no previous high here, okay? Order block, no imbalance. Previous highs here. Order block is not mitigated at the 50%, is only mitigated at the start. Early sellers, so previous high. So we have type 1 previous highs because we have both here and here. okay? But no imbalance, so it is a C setup. And that's it. These are all the examples. All right. So practice this. Keep in mind, for A, B, and C, we go with full risk. For D, we go with half risk, and for F, we just don't trade them. Now, this is a general. When I say about the risk, is general, because we will need to combine these with the entry types, because the same way we have ratings for this, we will also have for the entry types. We will have the A entry, the B entry, the C entry, and just F entries with not acceptable entries. So depending on if we have an A setup with an A entry, we will go with full risk. B setup with an A entry, we will go with full risk, and then I will just do a video with the correct risk management depending on the rating of the setup and rating of the entry. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.